It's Loco Customs. We're going to chop this car. If you don't have the confidence to chop your car, by the end of this video, you'll be able to.
This is a 1928 Model A coupe. It's 100 years old. You're going to watch us ruin this relic. Let's go.
You need 6 things for this. You're going to need a Sharpie, a tape measure, a level, a piece of paper, a grinder, and a welder. So before you touch anything and before you cut anything, the first thing you need to take into account is how tall you are. So you need to establish how much you want to chop out of it. I'm tall, we're bigger guys. I'm going to take 3 inches out of this so I'll be able to see stop signs when I'm driving. Okay, so we're on the back of the car. We're going to establish a line to get our cut marks. So what we did is we put a level on this line here because we know this line is good, as opposed to these lines that are curvy.
And yeah, he's just doing this because of you can't measure from this belt line because it curves. This is the only straight part right here. So he's just extending this line over here so he can measure from here to here. That's it.
So I'm just gonna put a little mark. Whatever window you have, put it at the bottom of your window mark, establish a body line that you can put your level on. So now I'm gonna find the center of the window, and then I'm gonna go inch and a half, so that I'll take this out 3 inches. Once I get the center line established here, if you want to take 6 inches out, you go 3 and 3. You just do the math. You can take out however much you want. But I just wanted to come out of the center because I want this window to come together. It's too big. This window is too big to leave whole. Normally I like to leave them large, but it's too big, so it needs to be chopped down. 10 and a half. So I'm going to actually mark it at 5 1/4, and it won't be exactly center, but it's okay. It's good enough for me. I just have a mark to go off of. And then from that, I can go 1.5 inches off of the center and 1.5 inches off the center. And that's where my paper is going to go. Okay, so take your ruler. This is a flexible ruler, so it'll follow the body lines nice and easy. This is my center mark. This is my 1.5 inch mark. We put it on that side on the mark, put it on this side on the mark, and now I can draw a line and I can manipulate this level to follow the body lines. Next step, a piece of poster board. I marked and cut 3 inches of 3-inch piece of poster board out. I use it because it's flexible and it's pretty rigid. So now I can take that and put it on my mark, just like that. And now that's gonna be my established chop line. That's exactly where I'm gonna cut the body. And that just makes it nice and easy. Not a whole lot of guessing and messing. That's it.
Make sure you're wrapping your mark all the way around inside the window so you know where your cut line's at.
Next step, we're onto the door. So what I'm going to do is we lined up the body lines here. Everything's good. I put a mark here so that when I cut it, I put it back together. I can make sure the line is in the same spot to make sure nothing moves. If your body lines aren't lined up and you don't like them, take some time to adjust your hinges. Sometimes these old cars, these hinges are bent. Sometimes you got to heat them up with a torch. Sometimes you can whack them with a 2x4 or something and get them to move. And they don't have to be perfect, by the way. These cars none of them are perfect. Get it close. I just put a line here to establish this. I can adjust the door afterwards. I just want to be close to where it's supposed to be. Okay, next step, what we're doing is we're marking the door pillars. Look at your body lines. You can even measure them and make sure they're the same. Like this is about 1 inch. This is about the same thing. If I open the door, the gap would be the same because you can tell here that it's the same. Now, if it went from 1 inch to 2 inches, obviously the metal tapers, which changes things when you go take this much out. When you go to put it back together, your body lines will be staggered, and you'll have to like pie cut them and stuff to make them fit, or choose the best spot in this place to chop it. Since this is all straight, we can just pick anywhere we want and take 3 inches out. It could be here, it could be here, it could be here. Doesn't matter. Well, this is a good example of what I was just talking about. So you see how this here is 1.25 inches here or so, and it's about under 1 inch there. So this pillar tapers. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna cut 3 inches out of it, and then we're gonna have to manipulate the metal for it to line up to put it back together.
You don't care where it goes?
Nope.
So this is why we use this paper, so you can wrap it around and you can make nice straight lines with it. And you get a true 3 inches every time, or whatever you decide to chop your car.
Well, for this mark, It's going to be different than these. This is the hold out, stand out pivot for the windshield because the windshield flips out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just above this so I don't mess with any of that structure. And I'm going to start there. And wherever it ends up here, 3 inches, is where it's going to end up. Do the same thing. Use a piece of poster board paper, wrap it around it, and it'll give you a nice, easy cut. So we made all our marks. We're ready to chop. All right, so I like to use a 6-inch wheel because when you got door pillars and whatnot, the smaller ones, the 4-inch, they don't really go through too well. And as this wears down, I'll probably change it so it goes through easier. So 6-inch wheel is what I like to use. I started with this piece because if I cut the back first, it's going to put a lot of pressure on these when I cut them. So what it does is when you're cutting, as it relieves, it'll pinch the blade and catch it and it'll try to pull the grinder and break the blade. So I'm trying to start where it's easiest. So this will hold this piece up, so to speak. We may have to put a little pressure on it to hold it up. So now I'll cut this one because it'll be easy to hold that up. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. The last thing we'll cut is these here, so that one of us can hold the front and then it'll all come up and nobody will get hurt. Cutting it by yourself, what I have is I have some stands that I can put up inside the car on the floor. I can put them up to hold the top up, and I'll put pressure on them so that when I do cut it, it'll spring up. So you don't have to have more hands. I mean, you could do it by yourself. Now, so something that I got to explain to you is, even though we've marked it and they're pretty precise marks with a piece of poster board, if your cut's off a little bit, it ain't the end of the world. If your cut's a little bit crooked, a little bit staggered, whatever, once you put this thing down, you can measure everything out and you can grind them a little bit, however you want them to fit up nicely. It's not the end of the world. There's no mistakes. You're cutting and you're welding it. Metal can always be put back together. So after I cut it up, the hinge is still holding it up here. I don't want it just hanging, dragging. So I'm simply just going to put a piece of tape on it and tape it up. No big deal. So now that we got it chopped, the next step is to go around and measure and file and make sure everything fits right, and then we'll start welding it back together. Obviously our marks are a little bit off here and there, whatever happened. We'll go in there with a grinder and we'll file off the high spots so that it all comes together nice. I'm saying file, it's not really using a file, it's using a grinder. So we'll say we grind it to fit and then we'll weld it together. Put it down. So when you're grinding this, fitting this stuff, start on the front or the back, don't start in the middle, obviously. If you come in here and look, you see a gap here, that's tight here. So that means we need to grind in that area to get all these gaps down to the same. So we'll do that all the way around the car and it'll fit right, and then we'll measure the window openings everywhere to make sure everything's right. If they're not right, then we'll grind them down more to where they fit the way they're supposed to. I'm gonna do the 2 front ones first, and then we'll line it all up, and then we'll look at the back ones and see what they need. I mean, this thing will take a lot out fast, so go a little bit at a time so you get it where you want it.
Looks pretty good, huh?
Not bad, just needs a little hit right over here. You know, depending on what it is, most people say you should just brace it up anyway, but me, I do it depending on what it is. This Model A is so small and so, you know, like you can totally just move this body around wherever you want it. So I didn't brace the inside, I don't need to. If I don't have to brace the inside, I don't do it because it's just a bunch of extra work you don't need to do. So when I pull this top down and put it in position, I can just pull the quarter panels and all that stuff around where I want it, so I don't have to brace the inside. If you're chopping, say a truck, for instance, the tops go in an asymmetrical shape. So like the windshield will be this way, and it has an asymmetrical shape. So when you chop it and you bring it down, obviously you took some out of the middle. So when you bring it down, they're not gonna line up, they're gonna stagger. So what you have to do is you have to split the top and then bring it out and fill it with metal. You can't just chop it and bring it down. If you want a video on that, let us know. It's a whole lot more work and it's a lot more methodical. This is a chop that you can do in 2 hours. Anybody can do it in 2 hours and you're done. A chop like that takes some real time to get it right, because I've seen a lot of them be chopped and they're horrible, but you have to do it right and take your time to get the shapes correctly. After chopping or before chopping, you can do it however you'd like. You need to grind the primer or whatever, paint, whatever, back to expose the metal on both sides, so that when you weld it, you get a nice weld without a bunch of crap in between. So we'll be grinding this as we go, so to speak. None of this has to be perfect. I mean, we don't want a gap like that, obviously, although we could weld that and have no issues, but we'll get it tighter than that. We're just going along, fitting it slowly so we don't take too much. So what you can do if you want to is you can put it down, put the sheet metal over the sheet metal that's too long, and you can just kind of mark it. And then that way you know basically where you need to grind. So when he lifts it up, I'm not going to grind to the mark, but I'll grind, you know, close to it. Okay, so now that we got it all ground down and we got it fit nicely the way we want it for welding, what we're going to do is we're going to start tacking it in certain places, and we'll start fitting everything together nicely. And on this large area here, basically, this stuff is not so much, I mean, you can warp this stuff, of course, but on this large area here, what we want to do is we want to go nice and slow so that we don't warp this whole panel up. So we'll just do some tacks, some tacks, some tacks, some tacks, move around, jump around, and it'll take a little while to get this thing welded because it's such a long area. But that's my tip for you is don't warp your panels. So vice grips, a couple different kinds. If you don't have them, you don't need them. But if you have them, sometimes it makes it a little easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together where I want it, and we're going to clamp it up so we can get a tack on it. If you can't weld, the alternative is get somebody that can weld, because this needs to be, I mean, think about it. This is the top of your car. You don't want chicken welds on this thing. You're going down the road and the whole top blows off. I said, it's not bad. I think we can manipulate it so that we don't have to pie cut it. Been a little bit stubborn here, so what we did is we got our clamp here, we clamped the post together, we got a ratchet strap here, we pulled the top back where we want it, now we're ready to tack it. Like I said, whenever you're doing this stuff, you use whatever method works for you. There's no right or wrong way to do it, just as long as you get the metal where you want it. As many as you feel comfortable with.
A whole lot of them.
So now what we're doing is we're going to pick up the back of the door to line up the door frame, and then we'll tack it all back together. Go ahead. I think that's good. A little more, a little more. Right there.
Push this in right to there. Can you push that right there? Ready?
Yep. So now that we got it all fit together and all tacked up, the last thing left is just to go around and fit all the edges real nice, kind of while you're going, weld it all up, and it's all done. If you want to grind it down because you're going to paint it, whatever, or some people just leave the welds, whatever you want to do. But that's it. That's a 2-hour chop. So if you watch this video and you feel like you need more information, we'll have the full video of us chopping this car right after this video. If you followed this and you chop your own car, send us pictures. Or if you need help, message us. We can help you out. This is our TikTok. This is our Facebook. This is our Instagram. And this is our email. This is our second TikTok for reviews. So if you want to see something reviewed, tools, whatever, we'll order it, we'll review it for you, and we'll give you our honest opinion. That chop looks so fucking sick. It's insane.
Looks dope. You gonna fit in there?
We made it badass.